We had non-farm payrolls on Friday, and the crypto market has seen a decline since the news on Friday. We've had a pullback. Why is the news negative? We're going to talk about that. But first and foremost, I was talking about Jasmy here at this resistance. I haven't managed to get into Jasmy yet. I'm still waiting for that pullback, and it's looking like I've potentially got another opportunity. We need to look at the strength in the dollar. We need to look at Bitcoin before we can look at Jasmy. Let's dive in. And Jasmy's trading just under 4 cents. And when you just take a step back, you look at the chart, you can see that we are bullish. We're putting in those higher lows, we're putting in those higher highs. Am I buying this resistance? No, I'm not. I'm waiting for this pullback before I can enter. I haven't managed to get into Jasmy. Like I said, guys, I'm waiting to get in there. The last two videos were here at this resistance and here at this resistance. Coins don't go straight up in a straight line. There's thousands of them, guys. I'm not buying resistance. I'm waiting for support. If it just goes up and up and up, which nothing ever does, then I miss it. But this is what I'm waiting for. This is what the chart's telling me is going to happen. So we've got 3 high time frame bearish divergences on this, on the Jasmy chart. Before we look into the strength of Bitcoin, before we look into what needs to happen on Bitcoin, let's look at these bearish divergences. The first one's here. Let's add them on together. You've got this high here. You've got this high here. What happens on the RSI? Just bring it up. What happens on the RSI? You've got a high, and then you've got a lower high, bearish divergence. So we've got a bearish divergence on the daily time frame. We're going to jump up into another time frame, which is the 3-day time frame. Each one of these candles now represents 3 days of price action. What can you see? An even bigger bearish divergence. Another lower high on the 3-day chart. The higher the time frame, the more they stick. And then when we go even further into the weekly chart, what have you got? Big bearish divergence. You've got high time frame bearish divergences. Those are indicating a pullback. This is exactly what we want. So we can now look at Bitcoin. What does Bitcoin need to do in the short term? And this is where there's indecision in the markets. This is before you get a new bull rally. Are we going to get a nasty sell-off, a reset in the market before full bull afterwards? Or is Bitcoin going to break through? Because look how many times it's been hovering through this resistance band here. Let's have a look. How many times has it hit it? You've got once, come back twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. What happens when you keep knocking on the ceiling? You're going to break through. So we're going to see and use Bitcoin as a leading indicator. We're either going to break through this previous resistance to make a new all-time high, flip that as support, and then start a new bull run, or are we going to have more of a sell-off because Bitcoin is just hovering while the rest of the altcoins are pulled back, they've bled a lot more. Bitcoin is just hovering around this resistance. So the next thing that we look at is dominance. Is Bitcoin more dominant than the rest of the alt market? And you can see we've pulled back in to this ascending wedge. This ascending wedge has been going for 2 years of Bitcoin dominance, and we've broken back into that. That's bearish for altcoins. It's bullish for Bitcoin. So those are the two things that's going to happen now. We're either going to go through, break this previous high, and go and test the top of this support, that resistance band, and that's sitting at 57.21%. If that happens, you're likely to see more of a pullback in the altcoins, including Jasmy, potentially to our support zone where we'd be interested. So this is why it's important to look at the Bitcoin dominance, look at Bitcoin as a leading indicator, and more importantly, after non-farm payrolls on Friday, what is the dollar doing? Is the dollar strong? Because we were hovering at this midway band on the DXY. Look what's happened on the DXY, a big buy-up candle. Big buy-up candle on the DXY is showing strength in the dollar. If we continue to see strength in the dollar, you'll start seeing Bitcoin dominance start to increase even more. You're likely to get a resistance to the 54% level, and Bitcoin potentially is just going to go sideways itself. So it'll hover over the previous resistance band, it'll hover over there and hover over there, and that's going to be the leading indicator for the crypto market. When Bitcoin leads, when Bitcoin breaks, that's when we're interested. So in the meantime, we want Jasmy to pull back. How far do we want Jasmy to pull back to? Let's stick our trusty fib on there. So what we're looking for, 618. Does the 618 coincide with anything? Here we go. 618 down here coincides with this previous resistance within our 87-day range. This is where I'm interested. This is where I want price to pull back. Get that off there, and that is sitting at 0.026326. So I'm more interested in Jasmy there. I can put my protections underneath the previous low. Once it comes back into the range, I know that I'm wrong. I know that price action is likely to reverse and then get cheaper prices. So I can protect myself accordingly. I can use this range as my support base. If I'm wrong, stopped out, little bit of capital lost, carry on, move forward. So if you did enjoy this video, guys, let me know in the comments what you want me to cover next, and I will see you in the next one.